It's simple. Too much money and too much power is held by just a few people. And it's only getting worse.
Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're tired of replaying the same types of games over and over again with a slightly different art style. What happened to innovation? When did everything become copy and paste?
The loser of the league, folks! The fastest man alive! It's the Flucker!
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Kitchen sink. These are the jack of all trades, master of none type of games.
Good morning, Mr. Riggs.
Good morning, Ashley.
We should go out and explore the area.
The ones where they combine every type of genre into one to give players as much content as possible without ever really nailing down any one particular playstyle. These types of games throw every possible combination of gameplay styles at players and expect them to remember how every system works individually while also managing or maintaining all the other aspects the game haphazardly throws into the mix as well. While some games have managed to find a combination that works for them, more often than not, the game becomes too overwhelming and continues to introduce new gameplay mechanics and controls so late in the game, it's easier to just give up and play something else than attempt to learn yet another genre.
I estimate a few thousand creatures running at our base. Prepare yourself, Ashley.
This will be a tough fight.
ARPGs.
Now, the Netherim have returned, and the Ember Empire finds itself on the brink of collapse.
Now, we're not saying specifically that we're tired of action RPGs, just a very specific type of ARPGs. In particular, the Diablo-esque ARPG. It seems like these days this has become the go-to genre for medieval fantasy games with an isometric gameplay style and endless hack and slashing while you uncover new and more powerful loot. The thing is, the genre already has its champions, namely Diablo and recently Path of Exile 2, and there's not much that can be done to improve on the formula. Maybe if developers and artists attempted to adapt the genre to something outside of dark fantasy, then it would be more interesting. But right now, all these games have become so copy-paste, it's becoming difficult to tell them apart. And the deluge just continues, usually accompanied with a fancy CGI or animated trailer that gets you excited, only to reveal it's yet another Diablo clone.
The dream continues to haunt me, old friend. It always starts with a journey to a distant land.
Cozy. We get it. Video games are how a lot of people unwind. So why wouldn't you want something more laid back and easygoing to spend your downtime with? But do we really need a couple dozen of these kinds of farmy life sim games released every freaking year? Honestly, just like ARPGs, these games start to blend together after a while. There's only so many ways you can make harvesting crops and talking to townsfolk interesting, and the majority of people who play these kinds of games already have their favorite picks. These rehashes of the genre aren't going to be enough to make them ignore their crops in Stardew Valley or refurnishing their house for the 100th time in Animal Crossing. Survival. Survival games on their own are a niche genre, although micromanaging required simply to keep yourself alive within the world is a challenge on its own. But as with our other entries, there hasn't been much innovation beyond what was popularized by Minecraft well over a decade ago. These games are also usually an enormous time sink. Gather resources, try not to starve or get dehydrated, only to get bodied by a creature that far outranks you and start over from scratch. It's a difficult genre to find the sweet spot in, and players who are dedicated enough can carve out their own slice of life within these worlds. However, many developers are simply adding these kinds of mechanics, specifically the crafting and building elements to their games when they make little to no sense being there and only detract from the experience. Surviving the real wilderness is more fun than this. Open world sandbox.
Oh, just another notch in some punk's stolen gun belt. So how does an up-and-coming gun-for-hire like you wind up in a hot mess like this? Let's rewind.
We can thank GTA for the influx of open-world sandbox games we've had to endure for the last couple decades. The problem is that while Rockstar continues to improve the genre they helped pioneer, many developers struggle to make their open worlds compelling in any meaningful way. What makes the GTA sandbox so compelling is that there is always something to do or interesting to find. But modern open world sandbox games are more concerned with the size and scale of the world instead of making it fun to explore.
You know, you're a real asshole. What did you just say to me?
Stop it! You're ruining my yoga!
Dozens, if not more, of these kinds of games would benefit from a more streamlined or linear approach, but instead utilize the more is better mentality, which prioritizes style over substance. These days, any game that claims to be open world is just code for lifeless. It makes gamers pray for a fast travel system to bypass the monotony.
Kill me. I'll be replaced tomorrow. No one will even notice.
Hero shooters.
3, 2, 1. Capture the objective.
Let's do!
This is undeniably a genre that both peaked and died within the same game, Overwatch. The surprise success of Blizzard's shooter initiated a deluge of copycats all chasing the same glory of Overwatch, but few, if any, managed to even make it on players' radars. This is also a genre that refuses to die, with a new hero shooter seeming to be revealed almost weekly. And yet, despite countless failures, developers and publishers continue to push for that 1 in a million chance their game manages to dethrone the Titans despite the overwhelming odds. The genre has become so saturated and stagnant that even Overwatch's follow-up couldn't match the success of the first game, and has been on life support ever since despite numerous updates. Concord is the latest example of this failed attempt to recapture lightning in a bottle that players had moved on from long ago.
What? Wait, no, wait. No, not there. See? Hey! Maybe we can...
Battle Royale. What was once a novel concept quickly became stale as the success of PUBG and Fortnite drove the industry into a frenzy attempting to capitalize on the trend. Out of the numerous copycats who attempted to break into the genre, probably only Apex Legends and Call of Duty Warzone emerged as true competitors for the Battle Royale crown, but that hasn't stopped others from attempting to replicate this runaway success. Adapting the formula to nearly everything under the sun, players immediately began to grow tired of the formula as devs oversaturated the genre almost overnight. Combining this mode with every other form of microtransaction practice under the sun, greedy publishers who saw the gameplay style as their next cash cow immediately flooded the market, and gamers almost instantly became bored and have long since left the gameplay mode behind, opting instead for more traditional multiplayer experiences. Live service.
Tony, check it out. At once.
Try to keep up.
You waiting?
Yeah, obviously. Figured I'd let you catch up.
This can apply to such a wide array of genres, it's become a red flag for anything with even the notion of the practice. The idea that gamers are nothing more than ATM machines for multi-million-dollar publishers has warped the industry to such a point it might never recover. Demanding players pay for the privilege of playing your game with countless minor updates, usually at premium prices, while also expecting them to play your game and only your game every single day. These types of games are also usually heavily monetized with microtransactions and battle passes under the guise of free-to-play. Some publishers have gotten bold enough to expect players to pay premium prices to simply buy the title and then continue to gouge them with endless content streams that add little or nothing to the overall experience except a way to force players to pay just a little bit more for the privilege.
The witness brought darkness into the traveler to turn their threat into our annihilation.
Extraction. Just like Battle Royale, this is a genre that is quickly overstaying its welcome. What was once a novel concept has since become the go-to for creatively bankrupt developers and publishers looking for a quick cash grab. The idea behind the gameplay style is sound and can be an engaging experience, but the barrier to entry is incredibly high, making the genre extremely niche. And yet, they keep doubling down. A recently cancelled Titanfall sequel was going to be yet another extraction shooter, and Sony's upcoming Marathon and Fair Games, or as they're better known these days, the Concord trilogy, have been met with resounding indifference from gamers. Extraction games can absolutely find success like Escape from Tarkov, which essentially wrote the playbook, but without the creativity of newcomers like Repo, the genre is quickly becoming yet another oversaturated and creative dead end. Souls-like.
It is darkness threatens to desolate our world.
The success of Dark Souls did not go unnoticed by the gaming industry, and soon elements of FromSoft's tough but fair gameplay style were everywhere, infecting nearly every genre of gaming. While some of these elements were implemented more subtly, many games aping this style of gameplay went from homage to just straight up reskin. The traditional action game died almost completely within a generation as more and more game developers were focused on making their games more challenging than simply fun hack and slash. This formula became so prevalent that it even infected indie developers, a section of game development once renowned for their creativity and genre-bending games, that has now become a printer for Souls-like titles in everything from straight-up rip-offs like 2D Souls-like, isometric Souls-likes, and even FPS Souls-likes. The recent re-release of Ninja Gaiden 2 Black has thankfully reminded gamers that action games don't always need to follow the Souls formula to be fun and challenging.
Go back to hell.
All paths before me are cruel and arduous. Our time has come.
What genre of gaming are you sick of being forced into every game? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from MojoPlays, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.